I'm Ashton from Event Chain for Investment Pitch Media and FinTech News Network. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Jonathan DeCarteret, the CEO of INDX Capital. Jonathan, thank you so much for taking the time. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. If we could kick it off with an explanation with a bit of your background in the space and how INDX Capital was founded.
Sure. Well, I studied artificial intelligence at university and have spent my professional career here in London for the last 20 years, starting tech and fintech firms. My most successful business was a portfolio business called Switch, which I grew to the 60th fastest growing company in the UK. And it was about 5 years ago that I started getting really interested in blockchain. And it was really 2 years ago that me and my business partner saw this opportunity with Masternodes, which has eventually led us down this path to INDX.
That's very cool. Now, INDX is a Masternode investment fund. For the many viewers that understand investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum, but don't know what Masternodes are, can you explain a little bit about what a Masternode investment fund is?
Yeah, sure. I think that the easiest way to consider this is Bitcoin uses a mechanism to verify transactions called proof of work. And there are lots of problems with that. You need really powerful computers. It's really environmentally kind of impactful. And so a few years ago, a rival mechanism called proof of stake was created. And what that essentially requires is a server, just an everyday AWS or Microsoft Azure server. And that can verify transactions very easily. And you guarantee the same level of security because the owner of that server has to stake a deposit in the native currency of the network that you're going to verify transactions on. And that's essentially how Masternodes work. They are really, as far as we're concerned, the next generation of mining, but cleaner, quicker, and more efficient. And what we found is that taking exposure to these Masternodes can be quite difficult, can be quite technical. But the thing that's really interesting about them is once they're set up and they're running, they're like ATMs. They just pump out cash 24/7.
That's amazing. And how many different Masternode investment opportunities are there in the blockchain space right now?
Yeah, well, at the moment, there's about 650 networks that run Masternode structures. There's over 250,000 individual Masternodes. And so really that's another problem that we faced really, is that there are just so many of these Masternodes to potentially invest in. They offer different yields. They offer different, they require different deposits that you have to put up. The underlying volatility of the currencies that you're verifying are obviously different from, say, a Dash to a much smaller cap project. And so there's quite a lot of kind of quantitative analysis that you need to make in order to really back the right Masternode to get some good profit.
That's very interesting. And yeah, a lot of people understand that Dash has Masternodes, and even people in the space, they know about Masternodes, but myself, I didn't know that there were 650 different opportunities. I thought maybe a few dozen, but that sounds like it's something that's really popular right now. Can you explain, is this early? I know Masternodes, I don't believe they were around before proof of stake. Ethereum was working on proof of work, and so is Bitcoin, and that doesn't have Masternodes. But when did Masternodes come around, and is it early in the industry right now, or have they been around for a while?
Been around for a couple of years. So when we started looking at this space, which was almost exactly 2 years ago, there were just a few hundred individual Masternodes, or just on a few different networks. They were started by Dash, which is the kind of early adopter. And what we've witnessed over the last 2 years is a really explosion of that Masternode space. And the reason for that is that because obviously they are really efficient verifying mechanisms, as I explained, but also they can provide added functionality to the network, things like kind of governance and voting. And additionally, I think we're only starting to uncover the added value that they can provide to a network. So for instance, Dash has instant transactions on every payment that you make. Their Evolution wallet, along with the instant transactions, that's all powered by the Masternode infrastructure underpinning their network. So I think we're only starting to uncover their potential.
Very interesting. And I'm guessing that you guys are invested in Dash Masternodes. I mean, how diversified is your portfolio? How many Masternode networks are you guys exposed to?
So the way we looked at this problem is with a rapidly expanding marketplace and a complex marketplace, we onboarded really high-level experts from traditional banking to build out an algorithm. So, we had portfolio structurers, traders, analysts, all working very hard for a year to build out an algorithm which essentially scans the market and then assembles an outperformance portfolio of the best performing masternodes with the lowest possible risk but the highest possible returns. So we rebalance that every month, and typically that will hold somewhere between 15 to 25 different network of masternodes, but the actual number of masternodes in the portfolio could be anywhere from a few hundred.
Very interesting. And are there other funds that are specifically invested in just masternodes as well?
We're not aware of any. We had some competitors, but they unfortunately capitulated in the crypto winter. They were starved of capital and couldn't push through. So as far as we're aware, we're the only regulatory compliance Masternode fund that is tokenized. And I think really, what we set out to do with this business is to make it as easy as possible for people to get the profits for Masternodes. So all people have to do is hold the index token, our token.
Okay.
And then each quarter, they will receive 50% of the rewards from the Masternodes in our portfolio directly to their ERC20 wallet. The remaining 50% is reinvested back into the portfolio to grow the NAV, to grow the returns for the next dividend.
Very interesting. So it truly is like investing in an index, as you would say.
Exactly. I mean, the way we see it, it's a really nifty liquidity instrument that allows you to get exposure to this asset class. And then once you want to exit, you just go on an exchange and you sell the index token.
Cool. And if there are outside investors or VCs or partners that are looking to get involved with index capital, is getting involved with the indexed coin the only way, or are there other ways to get involved?
Well, we're backed by VC, Iconic Lab, who have an equity stake in the business. But we are primarily a token-based investment vehicle. So the best way to get involved at this point would just be to go to the website, www.index.capital. And there's options there for people to participate if they're interested in gaining exposure.
Great. And I see you guys are rebalancing your portfolio with these algorithms from the experts, as you say. With that, and as you guys continue to grow, do you foresee any challenges or obstacles?
Yeah, I mean, one thing we're seeing in the kind of cryptocurrency ecosystem at a whole is this kind of coalescence around generalized staking. So Masternodes is one part of that. There's also really interesting opportunities in delegated proof of stake, which is a completely different verification mechanism, and also just wallet staking. So what we are looking to do at the moment is to broaden out the range that the algorithm looks at exclusively from Masternodes to consider these other opportunities. And I think really that's going to be the biggest challenge for an investment fund like ours over the future, is keeping a really close eye on what these new consensus mechanisms are, what kind of profits they can generate for our investors, and then how we can gain exposure and build that into our platform.
Very interesting. I was just going to ask that, what does the 6-month roadmap look like for Index Capital? Are you guys, you're looking at other types of investments, not necessarily Masternodes, as you said, a wallet investment. Is that classified as a Masternode investment, or it's like slightly similar?
Yeah, it's slightly similar. I mean, it's not a full, it's not a kind of full Masternode, but it is a wallet node that is obviously synced to the chain. But I think the roadmap for us over the next 6 months is we have a trial portfolio, which we've already deployed, and we're producing a 44% return on that. We'll be closing our STO at the end of August and deploying that fund. And I think really the challenge for us is to demonstrate a really positive track record over the next 6 months so that we can then return back to capital markets and talk to those bigger institutional investors who want to get exposure to Masternodes and staking and DPoS, but really need to get that kind of comfort level that we are able to deliver the types of returns they're looking for.
That's great. And I was curious to learn more about the index capital token. As you said, you're doing an STO. So is that token available right now, and who is able to have and hold the index token?
Yeah, it is available right now. So that token sale is commenced and is live on our website. It is a private placement because we are a regulatory compliant. So this offering is only open to qualified investors as termed by their local jurisdiction. But we are able to take a small allocation of non-qualified investors from each territory. So anybody who is interested should just go to the website and fill out the application form, and we'll let them know whether we can accept their participation.
That's great, Jonathan. And if people are looking to get involved with the community, do you guys have communities online as well?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we have a really vibrant Telegram group of, I think it's just over 6,000 Masternode junkies on our TG group there. We also run a Discord group. So yeah, there's a vibrant community there who're kind of interested in that Masternode space. Amazing.
Well, I'll leave those links in the description box below. Thank you so much for taking the time today, Jonathan. It's been a pleasure learning about Index Capital, and let's follow up in the near future.
Awesome. Thank you very much.